Hi everyone, maybe you are wondering how the unification movement looks at Christmas. There are many rumors that the unification movement is not a Christian movement, and we want to dispel these uninformed claims. The revelations that Reverend Moon received when he was 16 were from Jesus Christ, and some claims that assume that uh, no one can talk to God or God cannot talk to human beings are confusing, and this is understandable. Like revelations that somebody is the last prophet or somebody is the only prophet, revelations or interpretations that this somebody is the last or the only prophet. They kind of prohibit God to speak, which is very interesting. I've been thinking about this a long time, and I'm trying to look at the unification approach to things, not so much from one religious point of view, but kind of ecumenical point of view. The journey of men towards God through various revelations and various inspirations that were given to men in different places on the earth through different times. I've traveled a lot, so I see a lot of common human traits that kind of are embedded in nearly all religious beliefs that aim to make humanity a more um, peaceful, coexistent. Don't fight, don't steal, don't fornicate. Um, keep your keep a pride as a human being. Keep the pride of your co-humans also intact. Respect them and respect yourself. And this is a common trait in history, that we see through the spiritual books. So in this sense, Christmas is a very beautiful. Like I've been very moved by Jesus Christ, by his life and by his inspiration. I've been thinking for a long time, how is it possible for someone who only lived 33 years and only spoke publicly for 3 years to influence humankind so much that we can't forget this person for 2000 years? And I was touched by Jesus during one of the workshops within the unification movement, where we studied the life of Jesus and the course of Jesus and the words of Jesus, and the fact that he was willing to give his life to save fallen people, to save sinful men. And he was extremely generous in extending support and forgiveness to those who wanted it, and critical of those who lived unrighteous life. And in this sense, in Christmas, we celebrate the life of this amazing man, the Son of God, according to many and according to us as well. The person who became a pure reflection of God's Spirit, a pure embodiment of God's um, love and grace, and just unbelievable, really standard of love that showed us how to love each other, how to love God, how to love each other, how to love those who sin, those who don't live up to the standard of God's expectation, and how to kind of be critical towards what is wrong and what is sinful. And on this day, 2000 years ago, approximately 2025 or 26, um, we don't know if it's even 2000 exactly, but we celebrate the birth of this man, the some circumstances that surrounded his conception and life that followed, but mainly his birth. The fact that after this man lived uh, the world is not the same. They have tried to erase Christianity. They have tried to kill Christians. They have tried to persecute them. Communists have mass murdered them on absolutely astronomical scale. They wage a war against Christianity on global scale at the moment. Try to create global institutions which are anti-Christian, and yet the simple life and simple love of this man prevails. Um, it's expanding its influence in China, communist North Korea, um, extreme authoritarian Islamic State of Iran, and everywhere where the Bible and Jesus is persecuted, uh, the faith in Jesus flourishes, which is to me absolutely amazing. Um, I remember my own experience, how I burst in tears one day when I realized that Jesus had no reason to die for me. Like he doesn't know me, he doesn't know the people he died for, but he knew God, and he knew how important to God we are, and how important it was for someone to stand and say, "Take my life and spare theirs, give them salvation." And this is such a powerful, transformative message that it's on personal level on one side, but also it's so inspiring socially and morally to a community that would consider human life so valuable that it's better to sacrifice my own life or my own comfort to save a life or to improve someone else's life. And this is why the Christian nations have become one of the most charitable nations in the world. It's been heavily abused by many other nations in a very corrupt way. And corruption, mainly the way I see it, is corruption in the West comes from non-Christians, people who oppose Christianity, who are members of the Marxist atheist faith, who has tried to infiltrate Christian nations, has tried to set up terrorist organizations on many levels, and anti-Western organizations, to the extent where now demands are being made to completely erase the identity of British people as a Christian nation. Similar calls are being made in America and in Ireland, and it's shocking that this has been allowed to happen on one side, but on the other side, this is also a call to reevaluate Western civilization and to realize how immensely blessed, for lack of other words, because Western civilizations don't deserve the comfort and the wealth they own. And many make the claim that this is unfairly taken from other nations. But in my observation, other nations had no use for a lot of the materials that Western nations controlled and took, because the industries were developing in the Western nations. They realized how valuable these resources are. The nations that had them didn't. They had no use for them. They were happy to get any money for the resources they had. And a lot of aid was given back to those nations. Unfortunately, we know in many cases it was misused, the aid. It never went to the people that needed it. But that's not the problem of the West, that there is lack of moral standards in many countries that kind of reach the Western expectation of charitability. If a Christian gives donation to an Asian or an African or South American community that is lacking, it's not given conditionally, it's given unconditionally. But when it's distributed many times, even including by the UN, it's being misused. And it's very sad because it creates a bad image for the West, but it's also intentional in many ways. There are many people trying to intentionally misuse money and blame the West for being the cause for this. Now in this time, remembering Christmas, remembering all these wonderful things that come to us through history, it's really, really precious to think about Jesus, his amazing example, not about Santa Claus, not Coca-Cola, and not shopping, but remember Jesus Christ, who is the reason we have this holiday, who is the reason holy songs have been sung for thousands of years, and people have tried to look at their own lives and reset their own way of thinking and way of life to more resemble Jesus, to more resemble the Holy Spirit that governed his decision making and his mind and his spirit that was so amazing and touching. And really for 2026, it would be wonderful to think that we can be guided by the Spirit of God and by the Spirit that guided Jesus. And not just think about shopping or presents, but really look back at this amazing figure, historical figure, look back at his amazing life, and the miracles. It's not just his life, but so many people received inspiration from Jesus over the last 2,000 years and transformed societies, transformed themselves, transformed their families. And not everyone understood everything, and a lot of mistakes were made, but I would say my observation is that the general trend is towards goodness, and the world has become a far better place because of Jesus. And yeah, thank you very much for that.